So it was the holiday season. I'm like, I need to get a part-time job. The holidays, right? So I started working at Five Below. So I applied to be like a part-timer kind of guy, and I got a random phone call. It was the assistant manager. I'm like, yeah, sure. She goes, you're already hired. You're gonna get paid this much an hour. So no problem. So I went in there, did my little interview thing with them and stuff, even though I'm already hired. But the place looked like a mess back there. She's like, I need you to help me clear these boxes and all that stuff. That's why you're hired. I'm like, oh, yeah, no problem, man. So I was given a shirt, finished out some paperwork and stuff, had to do some like safety training online real quick. All right, no problem. I was given no tour. No one showed me exactly what I had to do, so I winged it. So originally I was working in the mornings to the afternoon time, and it wasn't that cool because you had all the customers coming in about like 9 or 10 in the morning. So you're trying to unbox and do stuff like that. Yes, I was trying to be a boxer. And as I was putting everything up and stuff, customers would come over to me and ask me questions and stuff like that. Yeah, no problem. And I would help them out, because that's one of the things is customers come first. So I was like, I got this. So this one kid, I'm not gonna say his name or anything like that though. He was only there a month, and he was looking to be the stocking manager or whatever. And they were also working on trying to change our schedule from midnight to like 7 or 8 in the morning, which I like that too. So you can just strictly focus on the job. I got my butt chewed out multiple times because I was helping the customers. I was helping them try to locate stuff in a store that I was never properly given a tour of. So I was like, that's fine, whatever. And at the end of the day, like, you didn't get nothing put up. I was like, what, you see all these people in here? You got to help the people first. Customers come first, right? So they didn't like my attitude too much or whatever. So I got my butt chewed, but customers came first. And it was really cool too is I saw a lot of my like other customers from another job I had. They were coming looking through Funko Pops and stuff like that too. I'm like, all right, cool. And one of my favorite parts about that job was it was random. There's all kinds of cool stuff in there, but I never really got a chance to learn the areas. I did request if I could be in the toy section, set up the toys and do this and that or whatever. Then they had a floating island, which 2 people argued over. One lady wanted to put dinosaurs on it, and manager type. And another manager type wanted to put this on it. So I was like, just split it down the middle where the customers can see it. Well, they did that for like 3 days maybe, but after that, they just started sticking random stuff on or whatever. Pretty much, they were just trying to pull everything from the back or whatever. And like I said, I was trying to focus on the toys. So my first midnight to 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, give or take, I was like, they're like, oh, you like the toys and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I want to see what's over there and stuff. I shop, I do toy stuff or whatever, got a little YouTube channel. And like, no problem. Then the guy just looks at me funny. He goes, since you're new, you're going to go do the makeup. I'm like, okay, no problem. So the guy was doing over there, like where the puzzles and all that stuff is, setting up the toys and stuff or whatever. I'm over there fixing the makeup section, and it's killing my time because as soon as you unbox something, you got to find where it goes, and you have to clear it out, make sure it's perfectly lined up and stuff. Because customers come in there and just whip things around, or maybe there's a person because they didn't have enough people, they just stick stuff wherever they can or whatever. So that was really annoying. But like I said, I tried going for the toys and stuff, and I felt like they were just pushing me on everything else. And also with the holidays coming up, they were sticking a bunch of toys up front and stuff with Christmas stuff. So it was just a madhouse, guys. And coming to find out, we didn't have a general manager at all. So the assistant manager who hired me was actually running everything. So that's why they were trying to make this night manager kind of guy, which him and I didn't click too well to begin with anyways. So, but they finally hired a manager. She was from like the Dollar General or something like that or whatever. She seemed really cool though, but she complained about everything. This ain't this, this ain't that. I was like, do what I did, just kind of feel your way into everything. I was like, I didn't get a proper tour. I don't know where anything is too. I was like, I got in trouble for putting $5.55 stuff up in the front area when it goes back where the $5 and beyond goes. No one told me this stuff. So I'm running around trying to find, oh, I got some clothes. And it said $5.55 on it, for example. I went back to the beyond section. Guess what? There's no clothes back there. They're like, that needs to go up front. I'm like, but it's $5.55. So they're like, pull off all the tags. So I had to go up front and pull all the tags off, all of them off, and hang them up and say and put a $5 thing down there. I'm like, okay, that killed time too. So whoever put those clothes up there, why didn't they pull the tags off? I'm like, whatever. So, and speaking of like the management type or whatever, every manager was like, it felt like there was too many chiefs and not enough Indians. So one person will tell you to go do that. The other person would disagree and say, go do that. Then one person would be like, why aren't you doing this? I'm like, because someone told me, no, get that done first. So I'm over there, then I get yelled at by that person, why this not getting done? There was too many people out there throwing commands out there and no one actually moving. And one of the other things was, even especially when we got to the whole midnight to like in the morning time thing or whatever, the general manager showed up about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. So the new guy who was trying to be he got his job to be the night manager for stocking and stuff like that too. He had a power trip, man, beyond anything or whatever. Him and I bumped heads so many times or whatever. But, I found out he was only there like 3 weeks before me. I'm like, okay. And he took his job very seriously. But he would sit there and talk to other people and try to like throw his, look at me, I'm muscular, I have control, I'm a big deal now. Whatever, dude, that's cool. But they would sit there and talk and stress out, nothing's getting done. And these people are just sitting there, gaggle, lolly, daddy, whatever. Why? So these guys would argue to the last minute. And I'm just telling people, get the cards, fill up those boats, let's get stuff stocked. And that's all I would do. I would throw stuff on whatever it is in that area, go out there and box it, stick it up on the shelves, neat as possible. They're still arguing about how things aren't getting done or this and that. But dude, they're just sitting there talking. And they're like, oh man, the boss lady's going to be here in like 30 minutes. Hurry up, let's get stuff done. I'm like, you guys are not cool, man. So yeah, so management was kind of weak there. But I do give respect to the assistant manager. She tried to hold everything together and stuff like that. But like I said, we got a new general manager who came in from like the Dollar General side of things. He had this kid come in he had a power trip on him or whatever. And I get along with most people when I work and stuff. But most everybody were like, they were younger types. Like, I think Five Below actually should be a good starter job. Like, after high school or maybe even during high school, because they will work your schedule a little bit. But there's also you get the part-time sections and you have the full-time. So, but the pay ain't worth nothing. Like I think I said already, it promised me something. But when I first saw my first paycheck, it was like minimum wage. I'm like, whatever, I could think it's just a little part-time gig or whatever. And if I had all my time together, I was probably there for like 2 weeks or whatever. So I did volunteer to help out and do what I can. But like I said, when I was there with the customers and stuff, like helping out, stocking and stuff, customers come up to me all the time, ask me questions. And I started learning the store a little bit. So I would walk them over there. Then, of course, I get frowned at. Why is stuff not getting done? Why is there a mess out here? I'm like, well, aren't we supposed to be doing a night shift thing? So my last day technically was like Christmas Eve. So it was pretty annoying. So I got called by the general manager. Hey, do you mind coming in the morning to help out? Well, I'm off tonight, so might as well. Yeah, that's cool. I'll be in there. Well, I left there about 4 or 5 p.m. or whatever, and I was there all day dealing with customers, also stocking stuff. I'm getting a lot of stuff done with the general manager and stuff. Well, then all of a sudden they changed the schedule a little bit. Now I had to come in at midnight, 11:30 midnight or whatever, and stuff like that too, according to the night manager guy. I was like, well, I've been working with the general manager all morning and all day and stuff like that too. I'm not coming in tonight. So they're pretty much, well, you're not a team player and stuff like that too. So I pretty much told the guy to shove it up his, but so him and I, like I said, didn't click well and stuff like that too. The pay really wasn't that great. No one had a clue what they were doing. Like I said, but it's a good start. It's family friendly in there. Don't get me wrong. But around the holidays, it's action packed stuff. So much is going on, all that stuff like that too. I enjoy the job. I even told him to. I just want to go there, stock toys even, or I could stock other stuff, and just leave me alone. Let me just keep going and going and going. But bark orders and stuff, of course, that doesn't get done because this over here needs to get done. So, like I said, it was a bunch of more high schoolish, like after high school kind of kids in there. So I just kept my mouth shut, just kept moving on, stuff like that too. And like I said, they like to play around a lot too. They complain and rush at the end of the day and stuff like that. And that's when I kind of chilled out and I stopped trying to rush and get things done because I try to keep constantly going. And you do have to have a mandatory like 30-minute break. So don't get me wrong. I don't judge what people do and stuff like that. Like I'm a smoker and stuff, but half of them would smoke weed. And I'm like, okay. And I don't care if you do it or not. I'm just saying, I don't want to be around it. I sneeze really bad. I don't like the smell. So I would try to have my break somewhere else away from them. They're like, oh, you're not part of our group or whatever. I was like, nah, definitely not. because, you know, especially if I'm there, it's still 8 o'clock in the morning and I smell like weed or something like that, and customers look at me funny. I don't like it, whatever. Then we had this older guy would come in too. He was an older veteran kind of guy, but he'd come in and supposedly steal stuff. But the guy wasn't all there. So he would come and literally take something and walk out the door with it. But he would hang out by the door where like his little shopping cart was. I don't know if he was homeless or what, but it looked like he just hung out there. But you didn't see him at the daytime or nighttime or anything like that. He was just there around like afternoonish time. And so finally they called the cops on him to find out he's really not all there in the head. But he would come in the store, but he technically didn't steal anything. He just walked out with it, but he did steal the stuff. So the cops and the managers had to talk and stuff like that too. And I felt bad for the guy. I was like, well, maybe you guys should help the guy out and, you know, call somebody on him or something like that. Not the cops, or see if the cops can help him go somewhere else, you know, get some help or something like that. So, but they frowned on that too. I found a bunch of stuff in there being stolen all the time, like headphones. They'd take them out of the boxes, some toys and stuff. They'd take them out of the boxes, pocket them. Where the dollar stuff was, like you see the wrappers and stuff, you know, but the toy was missing. So, you know, and you would see random hangers and stuff like that too. We didn't have no dressing room, and we were so busy where they couldn't really watch the cameras and stuff. And like saying, it's an easy job. It's just they didn't have like a clue of what they're doing or where they were going and stuff like that too. But I enjoyed it for the most part. I like getting out there and meeting people. Like I said, from my old jobs, like I would run to the back real quick because I saw certain people come out there and grab Funko Pops and bring them out to like the Funko Pop section and wave them down. I'm like, hey guys, I remember you. I got some Funko Pops over here. I'm just pulling out of the boxes now. And see easy sells or whatever too. So we did get like some kind of discount, by the way. I never used it, never tried it or whatever. I don't think there was really any benefits or anything like that too. But like I said, you meet some cool people in there. Because it was a Five Below kind of store, you had the different crowds in there. You didn't really see the classy looking people in there because, you know, they're better than that. But you get a nice little mix of people in there and stuff like that too. Most of them are friendly. Some will, you know, they'll bring their kids in there. They're terrorizing, moving toys and stuff around or whatever. Cool. Have fun with that too. So, but at least the stuff, most of the time the stuff was stocked though, compared to like Walmart and stuff like that too. So, and I did find some Power Ranger stuff in there here and there. So, yeah. What was funny when we started doing the whole night shift thing or whatever, they hired this one kid and he had his 30-minute break, but he was literally there for like, I think almost 2.5, 3 hours sleeping in the little break room, computer area thing they had or whatever. And I laughed. I was like, is somebody going to wake him up? You know, supposedly it was saving labor. I was like, the guy still has to work. It's not fair for us to keep, you know, doing all this stuff, but they let him sleep until he woke up. So I think they let him sleep until the general manager showed up, give or take. So, but yeah, so it was okay. Another thing I didn't like was the whole night shift thing was with them was, so we had, when we were doing the Christmas displays and crap up front or whatever, and, you know, we would set it up, get all nice per the manager of the night shift or whatever. The guy didn't really care for it. We would get it looking good, all that stuff, whatever. The general manager or the other assistant manager did not like the display and goes, that's not what's going there. I was like, it's Christmas stuff, you know, or whatever. And so they had to take it down and redo stuff because no one would talk to nobody. Like this person would complain to this person, but no one on the manager side would talk to each other. No one got along for the most part. So us little Indians running around, we were just in the middle of this war of who's power tripping in charge and who's in whatever. So anyways, enough of that, guys. Like I said, it was a nice little job for a little bit. Like I said, the total time of me working there was probably maybe 2 weeks, give or take. I didn't really care for it much. It was just a cool little holiday job to have, a little something experience. But like I said, it's good for the crowd after school stuff, or, you know, maybe a quick little part-time stocking job or something like that. But what can you do, man? It's just like a Dollar General or something like that, which you can find all kinds of fancy stuff in there, like Big Lots, Dollar Tree, the Family Dollar, Five Below. I mean, all those kind of, I want to say bargain stores, the cheaper kind of stores are trying to, you know, raise their prices up and stuff too. But the quality is not going to be the greatest, you know. But there's still some cool stuff in there, though. I mean, they had tons of different types of candy in there. There were some clothes. They had a huge pet selection, which I liked. So it was pretty cool. Electronics, I wouldn't really go with too much. They were kind of on the cheaper side. They had some random DVDs in there, stuffed animals, plushies. You know, it was cool. It was like that was a place. That's a place where you'd hide out because they had food and stuff if the zombies attack. So, but anyways, guys, enough of that. And like I said, I'm not trying to burn the place down. The only thing really good I got out of it, probably, because I like free, was a free shirt. Yes, and of course, that's another free shirt. So this one's the Christmassy one. So I did get something I did leave out of there, you know, besides a tiny little paycheck. But yeah, got some free shirts. Might use them for painting or something like that. All right, guys. Appreciate it. And remember, I wish I was there with the toys instead of the makeup. Because you can never go wrong with toys. Till next, kitties. Till next time.